Test, 1, 2, 3. Are we live? Slight audio issues. Hello, welcome to the Deadline stream. Hopefully it works. I think it works now. How's everyone doing? Welcome to the stream. Sorry about that. Any confirmation that you can hear me? Hello. Okay, there we go. Lovely. Good morning. Wherever you are in the world, are there any Americans who's gone up at what, like 5 a.m., 2 a.m. if you're West Coast to watch this? Please make yourselves known. You're a legend if so. To the Europeans, good day. To the Australians, good night. Sorry that there was no Final Thoughts video yesterday. I was unfortunately busy, but I did manage to catch the sprint qualifying on my phone. And what a sprint it was. Chicago here. You are crazy, Eli. 5 a.m. East Coast. Early morning to watch this sprint race and the Deadline stream build up. We have a few things to consider. First of all, I'm selling Valtteri Bottas. Not much have changed so far in terms of my plans for this Team 1. I'm just gonna kind of do this for now so we don't keep running into the glitch of it changing my team over and over again. This is kind of the team that we're starting with. And then we are going to consider if we should trade Antonelli for Hamilton. Montreal over here. Woo. Early morning. Your legends for making it up so early. We have a busy schedule today. We're gonna look at the we should do F1 Predict first before I do anything else. But like this is the main plan. 2 free transfers, Hadjar in, Hulkenberg in. And then the question is, do I use my third transfer to bring Hamilton? That's the main thing. But let's do F1 Predict before we move any further. Predict the podium of the Grand Prix. Not the sprint, the Grand Prix. Do I think Ferrari have the power in race trim compared to Mercedes? You'd be a fool to bet against Hamilton, wouldn't you? But I could see like this being the Ferrari race pace or a Ferrari quali pace, and then they have the degradation problems again. It is colder than it was in Austria though, so that is important to note. Ferrari really weren't that good last time around. Like I could definitely see like something like this, or something like this if Russell's not performing. But I also really want to bet on Hamilton. I think we can do this for sure, though. Russell for 5 points is not even worth betting on, I don't think. Like, 5 points is nothing here. I'd be fine to bet against Russell here and go this. The question, though, is just who's first, right? I'll bet on Hamilton. In the sprint, which driver finishes the highest? It's definitely going to be Lindblad. The Haas does not look very fast, and the V-Carb is the 5th fastest car on the grid. How many teams score points in the sprint? Loss was not that far off Hadjar, but there's more points than saying 4. So are we just predicting that? I feel good predicting this. Which driver takes pole position? We saw what Hamilton could do yesterday, but I think Antonelli's gonna take pole. Will both Williams cars get out of Q1? Will both Williams cars get out of Q1? They did yesterday, but it was very, very close between Behrman and Sainz, I believe. Well, Behrman was pretty close. I'm gonna say yes, just because I like Ocon is like 7/10 back on Behrman. Limitless team suggestion. I'll talk about that in a bit. Behrman's like 7/10 ahead of Ocon, and he went out by like 100th, right? Or 1/10. I can't remember what it was yesterday. So I think both Williams could get out. 15 points. I don't mind that. Who will set the fastest lap time of the race? I'm just gonna go Hamilton. Because why not? Which team will set the fastest pit stop time of the race? They've finally dropped the Mercedes pit stops down to 10 points because they've been good this year. I'm gonna keep picking them though. Will the safety car VSC be required during the first 10 laps? I'm gonna say no. No safety car or VSC first 10 laps. How many British drivers score points in the Grand Prix on Sunday? Interesting question. 1, 2, 3. I think 4. I do think Lindblad does score points. I don't think all 5 do. But we could say 4 here, and even if there's a DNF, it's not impossible that Behrman makes it up there, I suppose. Will a British driver win the Grand Prix on Sunday? I'm going to say no. Or do I say yes? I don't know. I mean, Hamilton or Russell can win, I suppose. I think yes. We'll bet on Hamilton. I mean, if we put Hamilton here, we should bet on Hamilton here. Cool. That's F1 Predicts. Let's take some questions from chat. F1 Fantasy, FIFA Fantasy. There's a lot of things going on today, yeah. Big lock in the World Cup Fantasy. Limitless team suggestions. Let's talk about it. I have used Limitless on all my teams, but I do think it's Mercedes Ferrari. There's no doubt about it in my mind. I think people are crazy for even considering going off of it, even to like Red Bull or McLaren. People have been talking about that for a while, but like Ferrari's too good at the price as well. There's no reason to sell them. So Limitless is always Mercedes Ferrari. I think the team on the driver side is more interesting. You definitely have Antonelli Kimi. You definitely pick Russell. I know some people want to play against Russell, but I don't think you do so on a Limitless. He's just a high upside pick because he's not owned by a lot of people in the top, like top 10%. We have Max Verstappen. I think is also like one of those drivers at 27.9 million. Not a lot of people have him, so I think since you can afford him on a Limitless, I think that's pretty powerful. And then after that, you can kind of pick if you want Lando Norris or Leclerc. I don't think you go Piastri. I think you pick Norris over Piastri if you can choose, just because Norris is like it's his home race. He's outperformed Oscar so far this season and this weekend. So I think you pick Norris or Leclerc here for the final slots. I think I would go for Leclerc, but you could definitely go for Lando if you want to bet against Charles. Good moral. What do you think of Limitless? I mean, if you have a good team in the back for budget gains, I think it's a good play. Honestly, like Limitless now could be good in any weekend, I think. I think there's like upside. You just don't want your drivers to DNF. That's kind of what you're gonna avoid. Because no matter when you play the Limitless now, your Limitless is gonna be worse than the people who played it in like China and Miami and Japan. But it's gonna be better than the people who played it in Monaco because it's almost impossible to get a worse Limitless than that. So I feel like you're just gonna be in the middle. If you can get like close to the score people got in China, like close to the delta people got in China, I think you're kind of balling. Hamilton or Antonelli for 2x for Limitless. I mean, that's kind of the question for non-Limitless users as well. No, I think it's really, really close. Yeah, I mean, two identical questions in a row here. Obviously you want Hamilton. I'd love to see the stats on it. Is it a differential to bring in Hamilton, or will most people bring in Hamilton, you know? On F1 Fantasy Tools, there is you can check like elite data. And Hamilton is only owned by 5% of the top 500, right? In the subscriber 500, it's 2%. Which is the subscriber 500 are usually more elite strategists, because the global 500 can include people who've spammed their things. I mean, most people have spammed their things, I guess, but even subscriber 500, not everyone has used their limitless. It's like still 11% left. 3x is only used by 70% as well. Whereas in the global 500 is 81% that have used this 3x. So I like to look at the subscriber 500 for now. And among the subscriber 500, again, Antonelli 97.2, Hamilton 2%. I would love to see what this number is after this deadline stream. After this deadline stream, this could be any number. And I'm very, very curious to see how high it jumps up, because I think it could definitely bump up to... Is it going to go over 50%? I don't know. I think it's so close to call as well, because Antonelli was not far away from Hamilton. We don't know if the Ferrari upgrades that they've brought, if they're going to help with the race pace, right? I can only get Hamilton plus Antonelli if I bring in Stroll. Do I do it? I don't think you do it. I think you avoid it. I think you pick one of them and wait. You have 115.7 million, no clue how to play it. I would prefer something for budget. What's my budget again? Like 114? Yeah, 114.3. So you're just slightly above me in budget, which means you probably can't afford Antonelli plus Hamilton. Means you just gotta pick one. One plus Hadjar. Like, that's kind of the play. It's something like this, but with an additional, what, like 1.4 million? Could you upgrade this to something? That's 5.1. Ah, not really. You're just gonna be my team, but bigger budget, like bigger in the bank, right? There's not really anything better you can do than this. I mean, obviously you could have Hamilton here. So if you have Hamilton here plus another 1.4, that's 3 million. So, wait, am I stupid? What did I just say? Plus another 1.4. Oh, plus another 1.4. So that's you're at 6 million then. I guess you could do Hamilton plus Bortoleto if you don't, but I think Hulkenberg is just better than Bortoleto. But like this is probably the best team you can afford, this plus Bortoleto or Hulkenberg. But I prefer Hulkenberg over Bortoleto for sure. So I think this is just what you run, even though you're like a million richer than me. I'm going Ham this week in driver today. It's almost 100% if he gets podium. Yeah, I think I can see Hamilton getting driver today, even if he's P2, which is like really what's talking in favor of Hamilton. I think I'm leaning towards Hamilton, especially on Limitless for the 2x. Good day, Fraser. I wouldn't be so sure about that, Danko. I think a lot of people are bringing Hamilton in this week. I think you might be in the differential if you keep Antonelli. I think just because Antonelli is also dropping in price or not rising the maximum, so Hamilton is better for budget. I think a lot of people are doing the Antonelli to Hamilton switch. Only downside with Ham is Ferrari strategies. I mean, Ferrari strategy won in the race in Barcelona. I've not run a poll on Ant versus Ham yet, no. I'm gonna wait for a few more people to trickle into the stream. I don't know what we're at right now. We're at 100, so we're below average. I know it's early, but I'm gonna wait for a bit before I run that poll. I think it's gonna be an interesting one. Lost in points in Austria? Sure. But also their degradation was awful there. So I agree they made a mistake, but they were not on the same playing field as other cars. Is George quite off the pace? Was it 2x him on Limitless? You could definitely 2x him on Limitless. Thank you so much for the sub, Zero. Welcome to the stream. Also, thank you so much for 5k subs, guys. We hit it this week. Huge. Means a lot to me. I mean, George was off the pace, but like he's not miles off. But he didn't really look like he was never in the top. And even in SQ2, he had to do an extra lap because he was sitting on the line. How about no negative? No negative is always good in the sprint weekend. You could always no negative this. I think I would I'm gonna, like, on the team that I still have no negative, I'm gonna keep it a few more races, I think. Probably for Sandvort or Singapore. With 117.2 in budget, should I go for it with Lewis, Kimi, and 3x? What will your other drivers look like? I think if you need to have Stroll, I think the answer is no. If you have Bottas and Hulkenberg, I think that's fine. But if you have Stroll as well, I think you shouldn't do it. I've seen a lot of people talk about, like, oh, should we downgrade one of the premium constructors to VCarb to use the 3x? I think the answer to that is categorically no. Like, even though VCarb is good right now, they're not good enough compared to points. And it's not like Ferrari are struggling. People are like, oh, I should sell Ferrari. Why? I don't think this is the time to sell Ferrari. Antonelli got 72%. That's really interesting. Good to know, but I think I'm going with Hamilton. Just because he's driver of the day likely as well. And budget is better. Alright. We've talked about this. Let's talk about this. Because we have some things to do here. What do you guys think? 3x on this? I got a lot of comments on my video saying I should do it, and I kind of agree with the people. Oh, Hamilton got 72%. That makes more sense. I would have expected. That seems more what I was expecting. Bottas is the problem, sure, but like I can't get. I'm 3xing. Obviously, Bottas is a problem here. But okay, alright, this is the real one. Everyone's doing Antonelli versus Stroll, or Antonelli versus Stroll, Antonelli versus Hamilton, Antonelli versus Hamilton. This is the real poll right here. Are you ready? Boom. This is the real question, guys. This is the real question. Bottas can't DNF 4 times in a row, surely? That's what I was saying last week. He can't DNF 3 times in a row, surely? And I was wrong. Gambler's fallacy right there. He has an equal chance of DNF this week. Considering what was Austria, Stroll really might look better. Sure. But it was also really hot in Austria, and it's not very hot in Silverstone. At least I don't think the temperatures changed that much. Silverstone weather forecast. It's pretty hot. 26 degrees right now. With 26 to get today at peak. 27 tomorrow. I mean, it's not 31 that they're getting next week. It's not like what it was in Austria. I'm sticking with Antonelli. Hamilton's longest long-run FP was 2 laps. We have no info. That is the thing. Like, they looked awful in long run. But even so, like, the talk around Ferrari have been crazy. Russell went out and said, like, oh, something's not right. We blah, 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 blah. Fred Vasseur clapped back and said something along the lines of, like, oh, when we bring upgrades, people say we're cheating. When Red Bull and Mercedes bring upgrades, people say they're geniuses. So there's something in the data. Why not wait Sandvort for 3x to avoid Bottas? Because it's Hamilton, Antonelli. And like right now, I think those two are the obvious two best drivers. And I think they're going to be P1, P2 in some order. And I can afford this now, which is a big differential. Because what if something happens in Sandvort to everyone else who's playing the 3x? Like doing something earlier than other people could really pay off. Even on a 3x, if you go to minus 20, it screws badly the 3x. Yep. 100%. You are 100%, Andrea. You're 100% correct. Which is why I'm like not 100% locking it in. Would you 3x if it's Stroll instead of the Lindblad? No. Because then I'm risking a minus 40. I'm not risking a minus 40. So definitely, if you can't afford Lindblad with this team, I don't think you do it. I just really, like, the thing is, so on my main team, I'm likely gonna 3x in Zandvoort, which is why I kind of want to do this now, you know? To play it differently between my two teams. So I think I'm fine running Bottas right now on this team. Clear Bottas 79% favor. Minus 10 with Kimi to Ham. I don't think a minus 10 is worth it. If you have a transfer left to spare, I think you do it, but I don't think you do a minus 10 for it. Because what you gotta consider here, miss, is that what are you really using the minus 10 on? Is it Kimi to Hamilton? Or are you also doing Gasly to Hadjar? So you gotta consider like all three or all two of your all of your transfers that you're doing. Would each of them be worth a minus 10? On their own, like individually, or can you move it in some other direction? The only time you can't do that is if you're doing something in combination because you're switching budget. But like switching Antonelli to Hamilton is basically equal budget wise. I think you should be able to afford that no matter what. So is Hadjar to is Gasly to Hadjar worth a minus 10? Is Bottas to Hulkenberg worth a minus 10? You know what I mean? I don't think Bottas to Hulkenberg is worth a minus 10. By the way. If you go 3x Antonelli and he will DNF both Sprint and GP, all of us will go with Ham. Yeah, that sounds good. I'll do that. So whenever you do a minus 10, you really have to consider, like, are each of the moves that I'm doing worth a minus 10? Because sometimes people make, like, the obvious transfer, which is like, oh, I'm going to bring in Lindblad because Lindblad looks really good and I'm going to sell Bortoletto. So they sell Bortoletto to Lindblad, and then they go, oh, should I also do Antonelli to Hamilton for minus 10? I don't think that's, like, I don't think Bortoletto to Lindblad is worth a minus 10. So if you really want Hamilton to Antonelli, then you should do that, and then you should not do the other transfer. You know? When we'll do team submissions, top of the hour, so in 35 minutes. 35 minutes. I think I'm doing this on this team. I think it's time. 3x on Hamilton. It auto-updated. Lovely. Boom. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't this absolutely gorgeous? It can't be as bad as Monaco Limitless even with bot DNF. That's true. I mean, the only thing is bad is if either of these two DNF, but that's always a risk, right? 120 viewers and only 20 likes? That's what I'm saying. Also, tier lists, says Rye on Twitch. Yeah, we'll do tier lists. I'll do tier lists in 5 minutes. Kimi, Colapinto, Bottas to Ham, Hadjar, Hulk. Should I keep the Colapinto? I think you keep the Bottas. Honestly, I know, like, Gambler's fallacy. But like, I think Colapinto to Hadjar is a bigger upgrade because Colapinto's dropping in price, Hadjar's increasing in price. Bottas and Hulk is like, are you doing a minus 10 for that? Or you just keep Kimi, right? I think you definitely do the Colapinto to Hadjar move. I think that's the biggest upside play you have. So I think you either don't do Bottas to Hulkenberg or you don't do Hamilton to Antonelli. I think. Because like Antonelli could definitely go and win the race, by the way. I think that's very plausible, especially if Ferrari don't have the race pace. Bortoleto or Lawson? Definitely Lawson this week. I think Lawson looks like one that could be like P6 or P7 if anyone DNFs in front of him. I think he's going to be best of the rest. Could even beat Hadjar. 3x with 118 in budget. I don't know what you exactly can afford with 118. Can you afford this team? I think this is the kind of team you need to be able to afford with 3x for it to be worth it. I don't think it's worth it if you can't have Lindblad. I think it may be worth it if you have Bortoleto here. So if you're 0.2 million less than what this is. I'm still debating Hulk to Bortoleto for budget game, but next race will need Hulk back. I mean, is Bortoleto even increasing in price? No. I mean, maybe 0.2, but not more than that. I think it's better to have just have Hulkenberg. I prefer Hulkenberg. Bortoleto could definitely drop in price here. 5 to I think Bortoleto's gonna be like an 8 points, an increased 0.2. I don't think that's a big enough budget value to then like go back to Hulkenberg the next week. Because if Hulkenberg doesn't DNF this race, I think he's definitely increasing in price. Should I keep my transfer for next race and switch Lawson to Hadjar? I think you switch Lawson to Hadjar. I think Hadjar is a good enough transfer to do now. Although I do like Lawson a lot. But I think you get Hadjar in. Hadjar's really good. What am I doing in this team? This team is so bad. What's the budget on this even? I think the budget on this is awful. Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, I should probably just ignore this team forever. I'm just gonna ignore this team. Do you think the 3x ship is good? Yes. What's the consensus? Hamilton or Antonelli? I think a lot of people are switching to Hamilton. I think that's the consensus. But I think it's very close. I think Antonelli could definitely win. It's just that Hamilton's better for budget and Hamilton is more favored for driver of the day. 112.3. That's tough. I think this is gonna be my team 1. All right, let's do the, what's it called? The tier lists. Will Hamilton be a differential this week? I don't think so. I think it's going to be like 50-50 between him and Antonelli. If not in Hamilton's favor. Antonelli could honestly be a differential this week. In the top of strategists. I think a lot of people are switching in Hamilton this week. Here we go. All right. Tier lists. should have done this before the stream. Alright, so... Alright, who are we starting with? Spam your driver in chat. Russell. Portoletto, Stroll. Alright, let's do Russell first. Russell's hard to place. Always Stroll. Okay. Stroll's done here. Okay. Stroll's like here. Cool. Interesting enough, though, when Stroll hits 3 million and those Hungary upgrades head for Aston Martin, maybe he won't be down here. Russell's hard to place. On a limitless, I think you pick him. On a non-limitless, I don't think you pick him. Where's he budget-wise? He's third. He's ahead of Antonelli, technically, in budget. I'm inclined to just place him B tier. I think that's kind of where he is right now. I don't think you're trolling if you pick him. I think he's definitely like a differential you could go for, which B tier kind of is, I guess. I mean, that's what he is. Like, Russell just is a differential pick. If you want to bet against Antonelli and Hamilton, you could kind of go for Russell and hope that that works out for you. I think Antonelli and Hamilton are both in S tier, but they're both in S tier because you kind of pick one of them unless you're giga rich like I am. I mean, this is just what you're picking, right? I think. So I think both of them are S tier. Pretty self-explanatory. Let's continue with the S tiers. Lindblad's definitely up there. Home race. Car's good. He's cheap. Guaranteed to rise in price. I don't think there's any reason not to have Arvid Lindblad right now. Equally, is Hadjar S or is Hadjar A? I think he's close, but I don't think it's quite S tier for Hadjar. He still needs 9 points for a maximum increase. I think he's likely to get it, but he's not like he's not guaranteed, you know. He could have a bad start, which he's had a couple bad starts, right? If he gets a bad start in the sprint, drops a few positions there, comes out of the sprint with not that many points, gets out qualified by like Lawson. Hadjar disrespect? I think Hadjar is S tier. There's no disrespect here to Hadjar. I think Hadjar's done really well in Red Bull. I just don't think he's S tier. I think he's close. Like he's on the line. I'll place him bottom of S for now. I might move him down to A tier. All right, next driver. Colapinto. Colapinto's tough to call, actually. He's fifth in the list. Okay, I agree. I think Hadjar is S tier. Hadjar's average brings him up to S tier, like how many points he scores on average. I think he's just up there. As for Colapinto, he is like technically fifth on the budget driver list for price increase, but I think he's kind of down here. He's just too expensive right now to really afford. I think if you're on a lower budget and you can't afford a Hadjar, you might go for like a Colapinto and hope Colapinto does well. But he's not. I mean, the Alpine doesn't really look like the 5th fastest car anymore. So that's kind of speaking against the. The Alpines. Gasly's also dropped down massively now. Like, a lot of people had Gasly on their team. Now he's super likely to drop in price. I think Gasly drops down to C for that. And also, like, Alpine just doesn't look that good anymore. I think the Audis are very interesting. I think Bortoletta's definitely A tier. Definitely a fine hold. Probably increasing 0.2 million, I would imagine. Hulkenberg at 3 million. I think he's also A tier. I wouldn't put Hulkenberg at S tier, but definitely a good pick at 3 million. Can't drop in price. Less likely, like, he's probably not going to increase in price either, but he's probably going to increase in price next race, so you might as well own him now. I think they're very equal here on A tier. I think Lawson's also A tier. Yeah, because Lawson is definitely better than B tier, and Hadger's definitely better than Lawson. Yeah, Hadger's definitely S tier. Lawson's A tier, probably the last A tier driver, I would imagine. Yeah, I don't see anyone else getting A tier here. Last A tier driver is Lawson for sure. Yeah, not much to say. 5th best car on the grid, probably best of the rest. Could get ahead of one of the front runners if they have a bad strategy, or a DNF. Definitely on for a points finish here in Silverstone. Then it gets difficult. I mean, Leclerc is going to keep dropping in price. Is Leclerc F or is he C? I think Leclerc is F. There's no reason to buy him over Hamilton yet. I think once his DNFs and his bad scores are gone and he is like 2 million cheaper than what Hamilton is, I think we can start talking about him climbing up the rank. But I would need to see him improve his form before I consider buying him. Right now, like, the only way I would own Leclerc is maybe as my 5th driver on Limitless, but even then, he's not guaranteed there. I think I would definitely consider Norris above him. But, I mean, the McLarens, they're just too expensive. Why would you ever go for either of the 2 McLaren drivers? They're also F. Like, if you're being differential in your pick, you're going for Max or Russell. I think Max and Russell are both B tier here. Both of them are higher up in terms of budget building than even Antonelli is. And if you're gonna deviate from either of these two, you pick Russell or Verstappen. Which is what kind of sucks with this, because these two are cheaper. Like, if Russell and Verstappen switch price with Hamilton and Antonelli, I think they would maybe be A tier even. But right now, as it is, this is where they are. Bottas, even though he's 3 million, he's C tier. I can't put an asset that's 3 million in F tier. Because there is, like, F tier is basically, there's no circumstance in which you should own this player on a regular team. I think you could have Bottas in your team if you're super, super poor. Either if you're super poor or if you're going for the 3x play. I think Bottas is probably on your team. Are VCarb worth? No. I don't think the VCarb constructor is worth. If Max was 25 million, I would buy him. I agree. Problem with Max is the price, 100%. You think Max should be A tier? I think Max being that expensive is what puts him B tier. A tier is like in a lot of teams. Max is not in a lot of teams right now. B tier is like differential pick, which is what Max Verstappen is right now. You think Williams could be improving? I haven't seen anything around it right now. Speaking of Williams, I hope Williams improve. I like them as a team. But right now, both their assets are Giga F. They're just going to keep dropping in price. Albon's going down to 7 million now. Alonso's also an F. No reason to own him. Ocon, probably dropping in price. I think he's F. I don't think Ocon is C. I think if you're placing an asset in C tier, it's... I think Behrman is probably B, actually. If I could have Pinto in B, I have to put Behrman in B. I think Behrman is B tier. And I think Checo is F. I think this is the tier list. VCarb is worth it if you want to bet against Mercedes or Ferrari, I guess. I'm praying for a Williams-Sainz turnaround like last year. Yeah, it's looking like Sainz might lead that team if they don't improve. James Vowles will really not perform. Hulk to Lawson for -10? Definitely not. Definitely not. You keep Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg, I'd say, is a like equal asset to Lawson right now. This is the tier list. Is there anything else you disagree on? Say it now or forever hold your silence. Uber, you're limitlessing. You have Hamilton at the moment. It's Hamilton or I mean, it's Hamilton or Antonelli. Russell or Verstappen if you want to be differential. I think it's going to be like 50-50 between Hamilton and Antonelli. We already talked about it. Let's check F1 Fantasy Tools again. On the elite data, if you go to subscriber 500, last race, Hamilton was owned by 2% of people in the top 500 on the F1 Fantasy Tools subscriber data, which is usually like elite strategists, right? Antonelli 97.2%. I'm curious to see what this is after the stream. You know? I feel like this could be this could be 50-50. And I'm not even joking about that. I think that many people are doing the Antonelli to Hamilton switch. It's a very, very, very popular move. Lawson or Bortoletto? I prefer Lawson if you can afford it. Hulk is one of the GOATs of F1 Fantasy. He indeed is. He hasn't really been from me so far this season. Bottas' 5% is crazy. I don't think it's that crazy. He's 3 million. I had him. And I'm not 500. They were the same type of people to me. Same type of people as me. Those with the lower budget. Those who didn't think switching to Hulkenberg on a free transfer was worth it. Those who wanted to save 3 transfers for Silverstone. Like, you gotta remember, like, Bottas was like 70% owned in the top 500 like 3 races ago. Found it interesting right there put Colapinto this team. Colapinto's not bad. I think he's a great differential pick. Everyone sold him last week. Alright. Let's see what they want me to do with my team. Like, the difference between Ant and Hamilton is so close here. I mean, this is literally what I've done with my team, by the way. This is exactly what I've done with my team. So, 112.7 is required for this team. I think if you have a lower budget, you downgrade Lawson here, I would imagine. Yes, I think that's stupid. GMC. Sorry to say it like that, but yeah, I don't think that's the play. People have been talking about downgrading Ferrari for like 3 straight weeks, and it's been a bad move every single time. Definitely not PA booster. It's almost never worth a -10 to switch a free one of the B tier assets around. Almost never. Last week was worth it though. Was it? You gained 12 points in the switch. So on a -10, you gained 2 points. I don't consider that worth it at all. Not with the price difference and the fact that Ferrari looked really good in this week. So I don't think a 2-point swing is worth it. V-Cup down to 38. Getting Hamilton in round 20 in round 8, 27 points plus V-Cup, so that's 45, that's 55 points. Not worth it. So I disagree with you, sir. If Antonelli wins and Hamilton is P2, P3, do you think he gets driver of the day? It's possible. I mean, it depends entirely what he's done, right? If 65, yeah, okay, sorry, still not worth it because it's a -10 move, so no. Well, a -10 is not been worth it. Should you go for the differential pick with Verstappen or Russell after the limitless disaster in Monaco? Not necessarily. Wagwan. Would you do Antonelli to Hamilton if we assume we go back to Antonelli in Spa? I mean, that's what I'm assuming I'm doing with my team, right? But I'm hoping I can keep Hadjar, Lindblad. I mean, I'm definitely keeping Hulkenberg. I'm probably keeping Hadjar. I'm probably keeping Lindblad. Maybe I have to sell Lawson if Lawson doesn't have a killer week. And I'm keeping Mercedes Ferrari. So I think yes. I think you still do it. It depends on what kind of transfers, like, what kind of team you have. And also how lucky you get, right? Because if I get hit with the Lindblad, with a Hadjar, Lindblad, Lawson DNF, you know, then I'm obviously keeping Hamilton for another week. Can you still submit your team in Discord? Yes, you can, for another 12 minutes. You're 100% convinced by Merc race pace? I think that's the one thing speaking in their favor over Hamilton's favor. Hamilton or Antonelli, I think it's very close. I prefer Hamilton, but by a tiny margin. Mainly driver of the day potential and budget potential, really. I think Antonelli's still probably favored to win. Would you keep Bortoleto and bank a transfer or swap to Lawson? I would bank a transfer, I think. I don't think Bortoleto and Lawson are kind of even. Would you consider to use the 3x ship? Yeah, I've used it on my second team. This is my second team right here. Just gonna do transfers on this team. It doesn't really matter. This team is kind of dead anyway. Antonelli winning after what looks like 2 bad weekends is a good argument for driver day for him too. I mean, were they really bad weekends? He was really good at Barcelona, had an unlucky mechanical failure that made him drop out of the points, and then last week he was fine, like he was still up there, you know? He was P4. What's your budget on Team 2? Like 121 million. It's absolutely disgusting. Does anyone have a higher budget on their main team than 120.4 million? Show yourself. 3x Ham 2 at Hadjar? No, I don't think so. I think you save the 3x for when you can have Hamilton plus. I think you should use the 3x when you think that you have the driver that's going to finish P1, P2. And if you think Hadjar is going to finish P2, by all means use 3x. But you can save the 3x for Sandport or Silverstone or Singapore when you have more money. 120.4 is absolutely disgusting. I'm super excited to see how far I can take this team. Which is why I'm using the 3x now. I would really want to see the pop in rank for this team. Hulkenberg or Bortoleto? I prefer Hulkenberg. Because I don't think Bortoleto's increasing 0.6. And I think everyone's going to want Hulkenberg next week anyway. So if you're picking one, you want Hulkenberg. Because he's probably rising in price in... what's the next one? Spa, right? Yeah. If you had to choose between your safer T1 and your 4A Team 2, which would you? Team 2, 100%. 100% my Team 2. My Team 2 is just straight up better than my Team 1 right now. Global rank as well. I can show you on the leaderboard, like... Oh, I forgot to join this, though. I'm gonna join with this team. Win a Max Verstappen helmet? I'd love that. Yeah, so my global league right now, I mean, it's terrible. I have nothing in the top 10k. But my Team 2 is now officially past my Team 1. Yes, correct. Oh, sorry about that. I apologize. Budget builder side, consider with my budget to go for a 1A constructor and Ham Antonelli with 3A's. What do you think? Green from Germany. I don't think that's worth it right now. But I mean, it's close. If VClubber can put another 50-pointer on the board, then maybe. But it depends on how you think Leclerc is gonna do. I think, because I think it's only good if like Leclerc performs really badly. But if Leclerc like puts a P5, I don't think it's worth it. If you had a free transfer, would you put Bortoleto Lawson for Hulkenberg for a budget upside? I don't think I would put Bortoleto over Hulkenberg, or even Lawson over Hulkenberg for budget upside. Because I think the budget upside in Hulkenberg is that he can't drop, even if he has a DNF. And he's probably going to increase next race. So even budget upside, I think you have more budget upside just by the fact that you can't drop. Paulo, thank you so much for the subscription. Welcome to the stream. While everyone is down there, make sure to like the stream. We are currently at 168 people in chat. And only... I'm about to expose y'all. $38 likes. We have 170 people in chat, 138 likes. We can definitely get that to at least 75 before we start the team submissions on Discord. So if you haven't been here before, welcome. I do team submissions on Discord every time. The Discord link should be in the description below. Just put it in the team submissions channel. And if you want to guarantee that your team gets reviewed by moi on these deadline streams, make sure to become either a member on YouTube, I believe it's like $2, or become a subscriber on Twitch. I'm streaming on Twitch as well. On Twitch, you can do it with Amazon Prime if you have it. If you have Amazon Prime and you use it regularly, just know that if you don't renew it on Twitch every month, you're basically giving $5 to Jeff Bezos that could go to me or another streamer. So I'm not asking that you have to use it on me, but if you are an owner of Amazon Prime, you definitely should link that to your Twitch account and give away a Prime sub every month to a streamer. Because Lord knows Jeff Bezos does not need more money. So yeah, give it to me instead. And you get your team reviewed. And you get access to cool emotes. I think I have the new emotes on here as well. Yeah, look at the new emote in chat, guys. This is what you get when you become a subscriber. Either on Twitch or on YouTube. You get me telling you what to do. You get to tell people to do what you want them to do with this great new emote. Isn't it fantastic? I think it's a pretty good emote. Anyway, 4 minutes until we do some team submissions. 58 likes. We need another 17 before I'm gonna start it, though. 17 more likes, we can definitely get that. Forgot my team 2 has Limitless still. Should I use it? I don't hate Limitless here. Do we have any weird changes to the grid before the sprint? Not that I've seen, though. If you see any, though, make sure to let me know. Is it worth taking out Amsterdam but I lose extra transfers for Spa? Or keep Antonelli? I think for a free transfer, I think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it for a -10. That's going to be my final call on that. Hammer Antonelli if I put... Whoop, there we go. Is it safe to use the Limitless this weekend? I mean, it's never safe to use Limitless, but I think you can. Overall, Antonelli or Ham? I think it's like a close 50-50. I slightly prefer Hamilton just because of the Driver of the Day bonus. Alright, I'm gonna go get a drink because I need some energy. And then we'll do team submissions after that, I believe. Okay? Okay. Cool. Be right back. Alright. Welcome back. Limitless, good option to save it for later. I think Limitless right now could be good in literally any week. Like, your Limitless is going to be worse than the people who use it in the first, like, 4 races of the year. But it's going to be better than the people who used it in Monaco, so it's like, you're chilling. Why is this person spamming? That's a good question. I don't see that person. Oh, it's the one I'm answering right now. I don't see them spamming. What about final fix Antonelli to Hamilton, therefore keeping a transfer Antonelli for next race? Yes, I mean that's definitely an option. If you don't do the transfer now and then you know Hamilton wins the sprint and he performs well in qualifying again and you want him for the main race, I think final fix could definitely be worth it if Antonelli is far back. I have exactly the same team you have, but I still have the budget to change Bortoleto by Hulkenberg, but that would mean one less transfer next GP. I think it's fine using one less having one less transfer in Spa, because I mean this is a sprint weekend. You should get the best team you can have, right? Think of same strategy as a team too. How are you feeling about Bottas? Not great, but what can you do? All right, let's do team submissions. Here we go. Celtic and Calandori are the only two to have submitted, I think. Oh, Uber did a while ago, but I think Uber's here actually, so we'll do Uber's first. Perfect time to go limitless. Apparently so. All has the potential to increase in price. Sprint quality gives me chance to edit team 2 if necessary. Good luck this weekend. I don't hate that at all. If you still have your limitless, again, it's what I basically just said. I think it's going to be a good weekend to use it, right? But like good as in comparison to Japan, probably not. Good as in comparison to Monaco, probably. So I don't mind it. I think this team is probably this team is correct as well. Russell 2x is interesting, to be fair. Celtic, Austria team, gas out, law in. Seems good. Good budget. Good team. Having Hamilton already. Might as well just keep him. He looks good. What is our path, Sensei? Well, considering I'm 22k in the world right now, I don't think I can be considered Sensei anymore. But 118 million, 2 transfers. You have smart play, all in 4A, the 4A oh hey Ferrari play. Unfortunately, Stroll and Bottas is like a minus 40 potential swing, right? Which is never fun. So I don't think it's all in 4A. I think we're leaning smart play, no? What do we have here? Gasly out for... You're keeping Hulkenberg. I mean, you're not keeping Hulkenberg here, which I think might be a mistake. I think you pick either Lawson or Behrman and keep Hulkenberg and just save a transfer. No? Main reason for that is like Hulkenberg is probably increasing in price unless he DNFs here in Silverstone. He's likely increasing in price in Spa, so you probably want Hulkenberg in Spa. So you might as well keep him and just pick Behrman or Lawson here. Save a transfer. 4A oh hey Ferrari play. I mean I like this more than this, but I still think you probably want Antonelli Hamilton or a 4A play. What else do we have? We have a couple of submissions. We have Ginge. 5 million has already used its transfer, so let's just look at this team. Does it look good? I think everything looks good here. There's no asset I would change out. Antonelli 2x is completely fine. Hajar is great. Hulkenberg's great. Bortoleto, Lawson, both are good. No Lindblad is interesting, but I guess that's the differential. Rob sent you. Can I send you back? No. You're welcome here. Stay here. Geest. Other than Team 1 and Team 3 taking out Gasly, not much to do. Could use all 3 transfers on Team 3 to go Kimi, Lawson, Hulkenberg. Budget, Behrman points, Hamilton, Lindblad, Mercedes, Haas. Yuck. I think Antonelli to Hamilton would feel quite sideways. I agree with that. It does feel sideways, so you could definitely play around that. Could use all 3 transfers on Team 3 to go Kimi, Lawson, Hulk. Nah, there's no reason to switch to Haas here. Like, when you're already on a V-carb play, you might as well just keep it, right? All teams look good here. If you want to, like, keep Antonelli, I think keeping Antonelli is totally fine. I think it's going to be, like, 50-50. What do you think about Colapinto over Lawson? I think it's a slight downgrade, but it's a big differential. So, top driver of the day contender is definitely Hamilton. It's not even close. Tip of the week, do not choose Bottas. Well, I'm choosing Bottas on my 4A team, so Albon starting from the pit lane in the sprint. There we go. Information. Unfortunately, that does not make me consider him at all. But good information. Overall, I mean, taking out Gasly, you already have Lindblad across the board. It's just Gasly to Hadjar, right? Simple as. Then we have Falcon. Team 1, 112.4. Unfortunately, don't have the budget to do double V-Carb, Hulk, Hadjar, Ham. That's fair. I think you can probably do without Lawson then. I do prefer to have Hadjar over Lawson. So maybe you have like... no, you can't get to that either, can you? You would have to downgrade one more. No, I mean, you should be able to afford Hadjar here, right? So I think I would try and go Hadjar over Lawson and stick with that. I think you can afford that. 5.5 million? Yeah, it should be enough. Yeah, I think it's just like you have to have Bortoleto, but you have to have Bortoleto Hadjar. I can, with a slightly higher, I can afford Lawson Hadjar. Then we have a Limitless team. Looks good. Nothing to talk about there. And this team looks nice. I mean, I've already talked about why I prefer Hulk to Bortoleto, but I think it's fine. Yeah, teams looks good. Question is, do I downgrade someone so I have budget for Hadjar on team 1? I think yes. I think you just do Lawson to Hadjar. I don't think you downgrade Bortoleto or Lindblad to like Bottas, because that's the only really thing you can do. I think it's you just ignore double V-Carb and go Hadjar here instead of Lawson. I think that's the play. Limitless is good for team 2. Team 3 took my first -10 for the Hamilton Hadjar meta teams. Any suggestion? Main query is team 1 to be fair. I mean, this team looks just looks good. If you're already taking a -10 on it, I wouldn't change anything else. Just consider like, did you need all the -10s? Probably, because your budget is lower. So maybe it was worth the -10. But on this team, I'd say maybe just do Lawson to Hadjar. Right. Millie, this is my current team. Only swap I can see to make is Ant to Ham, but even then I can't afford to have Lawson over Bortoleto. That's fine. Bortoleto is more likely to price rise anyways. Yeah, for 0.2, that is true. I've used my 3x, and I reckon Antonelli is the better long-term hold. I agree. Worth just rolling a transfer this week. I do have final fix if needed. Yeah, I think it looks great. No notes. Seelan Beelan, 3 free transfers, but not looking to do any. Maybe free swap Ham for Drive Today and potential win. Yeah, 1.6 million. You can't afford to go up to Lawson. Yeah, there's nothing really. I mean, the one thing, if you want to play Bearman for a potential, I'm just looking for a transfer that you could make with 3 transfers, right? I mean, it's Antonelli to Hamilton is 1. I think with 3 free transfers, I would probably do it, because you're going to have 3 free transfers next week, so switching back is not a problem, and Hamilton is better for budget this week anyway. So I think I would do Antonelli to Hamilton in your case, because you just have so many transfers left over. The other option you have is like Bortoleto up to like a Bearman for a differential play, but you could definitely just hold Bortoleto as well. And you can't afford to go to Lawson anyway, so I think that it just looks good. Why Hulkenberg over Bortoleto? Because Hulkenberg is 3 million, can't drop in price even if he DNFs, and if he doesn't DNF, he's very likely to increase the maximum amount next week in Spa, whereas Bortoleto is very unlikely for or is quite unlikely to hit 0.6 million increase. Bortoleto will probably increase 0.2, maybe 0.6 if he's lucky, but I don't think so. I think Bortoleto's probably on for a 0.2 increase, which is not that much, and considering that Hulkenberg's on for a 0.6 next week, I think Hulkenberg's just better and has no downside in case he doesn't reach any point thresholds. So that's why I prefer Hulkenberg. It also just allows you to do more things across the rest of your team if budget's tight. Granted, if you have Bortoleto, I don't think you need to sell it to Hulkenberg, but just in general. Musiala or Özil? Definitely Özil. Definitely Özil. 3x option this week. I'll show you my team too. There you go. That's the 3x. Buxna. Hello, Rain. Any suggestions in this team? 3 transfers. Hunting top 30. Ooh! Insane. Thanks. Good luck. Gasly's gotta go. That's like the only transfer you have to make. And the obvious one is Hadjar in, right? Behrman or Lawson. I think Lawson's slightly better, but Behrman is a differential play if you want to. So Gasly is out for Hadjar is like the obvious move. You can do Antonelli to Hamilton. Especially with 3 free transfers, and then you probably roll the last one. I don't think there's anything else you need to do with this team. Yeah. Gasly definitely to Hadjar, and then Antonelli to Hamilton if you want, and if you want to bet on Hamilton. Other than that, I would just stick. And definitely roll a transfer to have 3. Is there a reason why most people are going for Antonelli instead of Lewis? I think it's very close. I think we're just getting a few Antonellis in a row here. Don't forget about missing any budget in case anyone uses FF to swap a driver in. That's true. That is valid. I haven't really considered that so far. Because there's a lot of other chips flying around this week, so I've not really considered Final Fix that much, really. But then again, like, if you have Antonelli and Hamilton puts it on pole and Antonelli's P2, you're not Final Fixing Hamilton in for, what, like, the 20 points? What was your opinion of Final Fix? I can't give a Final Fix opinion until I've seen what's happened in the sprint and in the qualifying. Anterham this week, I think it's very, very close. Let's do it now when we have a few more people in here than we did at the start of the stream. So I think it's worth doing now because this is obviously the big question of the stream today. We have 220 people in chat. We are at 72 likes. We didn't even hit 75. I've given you the team submissions anyway because I'm so kind. Let's push that up. There's over 100 people watching right now who've not liked the stream on YouTube. Let's push this to 100. And let's do the big poll that everyone's been asking for. Who will you have this week? Boom. I just want to see what the data is. Because right now, like, we have data from last week. And the data from last week is basically everyone had Antonelli, right? Elite data, subscriber 500. Last week, it was 2% Lewis, 97.2% Antonelli. So go onto the poll, like the stream while you're down there. How was my weekend in Catalonia? It was really, really nice. I had a lovely time. Roll a transfer, get a ham for ants. Up to you, man. As long as it's a free transfer, I think it's worth the trade to make. Anterham for next week, though. Well, who knows? Who knows what it will look like then? I think right now Antonelli's probably favorites. Where's Antonelli on the budget? I mean, Antonelli's bad budget race was Barcelona, so that's going to be gone. So Antonelli's going to be back up in the budget contention. What about 3x on Lewis, 2x on Antonelli, Mercedes Racing Bulls? I prefer to keep Ferrari because that's the team you're going to want to have later anyway. But if you have wildcard available, I think it's fine. What something that people kind of need to consider as well with the 3x play is that people are saying like, oh, don't do the 4A because you have Bottas and Bottas could DNF and get -20, which is sure, that's true. But if you have VCarb and VCarb don't perform, that's also kind of like a downside to the 3x play, you know? Maybe not 20 swing, but still. You're just here for my tip. If you know, you know. You're gonna have to wait another 14 minutes for my tip. I'm sorry. Is it better to autopilot here or 3x for a team with both Lewis and Antonelli? It depends on what your other team is. But like, if you're going for Hamilton and Antonelli, I think you 3x. If you have Hamilton and Antonelli in your team, no matter what the rest of your team is like, you play the 3x if you have it. That's kind of the point of 3xing, no? Or that's kind of the point of going 4A. The high upside play is playing the 3x, which is why I switched to this. Hamilton or Antonelli and three free trades next week. Are you gonna need the three free trades next week? I don't know. I'm doing the Hamilton plus 2 free transfers next week because I think I probably only have to sell Hamilton back to Kimi and then like one more. I'm teasing Rob. Yeah, I mean that's all I do, really. Uh, 0.1 away from Hamilton and Antonelli, Lindblad, Hulk, Bottas, 4A for a 3x. That is unbelievably sad. Urisoto. That's actually tragic. I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm actually so annoyed that my third team is doing so well on budget, but my main team is flopping. Hey man, you're not alone. You're not alone. Look at this. So my team 1, yeah, has what is it, 114.3 million, which is okay. But my team 2 has now passed my team 1 in the overall standings, and that's 120 million. Like, are we so for real? Fantasy Tool says Colapinto instead of Lawson. Thoughts? That seems crazy to me. Expected points. Interesting. I guess they're saying that Lawson's gonna drop in. Yeah, I guess Lawson doesn't have anyone to overtake really, and he's not really gonna gain any points, which is why it's at 0. So I see it. Like Colapinto's starting further back. He has options for overtakes and stuff like that. The thing is with Lawson though is that if anything happened to the front 8, I think Lawson's gonna be the one there to pick up the points and you know, maybe get a P6. How much budget does Team 2? My Team 2 has 120.7 million. And I think you need... yeah, 120.4 million, sorry. And to build the goated team, I think you need to have... what is it? 119.5 to build this team. So 119.3 to do this, but with Bortoleto. Because that's kind of what I consider to be like the optimal, right? So I think you need like 119.3. Oh, yo, wait. Urisoto, if you want to do the 3x play, actually you just don't have Lindblad. Just go Bortoleto instead. Though I suppose you already had Lindblad, so maybe that takes a -10 for you then. If you have wildcard though, you could go for it. You should be able. If you I can't speak. If you were 0.1 away from affording Lindblad, you just do it with Bortoleto. It's not as good, but it's still good enough. Like you still get the point across. You do have 3 free transfers. Yeah, I think you do this then. If you really want to go for the 3x play, I think going for Bortoleto here is totally fine because you likely want to get rid of Bottas next week anyway. So you could just keep Bortoleto, and the next week you sell Hamilton or Antonelli and upgrade Bottas. So you sell one of them to Hadjar and upgrade the other one to like Lindblad or whatever, and then that's your team for Spa if you don't want to keep the 4A. I'm in shock that people have over 115 million. I mean, this team is like 22k in the world because it ran a second cheap constructor for a long time. Law podium incoming, New Zealand on top. We'll see about that. Your team's in the mud, missed the last 2 team submission deadlines. That is unfortunate, Aporum. I can't... I can give you all the tips in the world, but if you miss the deadlines, you miss the deadline. Oh, your point 1 with Bortoleto, not Lindblad. I had so much hope for a few seconds. I'm so sorry to get your hope back up. Well, can't help you there. Unlucky. Should I do 2 changes added to hand Bortoleto to Lawson? I think Bortoleto to Lawson is kind of a sideways move. I think you should just keep Bortoleto, if I'm honest. Have an extra transfer in Spa. Alright, we're doing tip of the week in 9 minutes. 9 minutes of tip of the week. I need another... we're still not at 100 likes. There's just over 150 people in here who have not liked the stream. I cannot believe you guys. The fact that I have to remind you all these times. Gasly to Lawson or Bortoleto? I prefer going to Lawson from Gasly. But I don't think trading Bortoleto to Lawson is worth it. What do the AI think for this week? I'll take a look at them later, I think. I don't really care what the AI think. I care about what I think. Use Limitless. Again, I've spoken a bit about Limitless already. I think Limitless is a fine play. It's just that because of what happened in Monaco, Limitless from this point onward in the season is going to be so funny because it's like, yeah, Limitless is just going to be good, you know? Because it's not going to be as good as it was in China, Japan, Miami, right? But it's going to be better than what it was in Monaco, almost no matter what. So your Limitless is just going to be fine. See, guys, even Rai switched platform. Rai went from Twitch to YouTube to drop a like. Be more like Rai. That's the perfect chatter. There we go. 107 likes. That's better. I'm happy now. I'm content. I'm content. I'm good, J Lanes. I've done the Antonelli to Lewis swap. Yes. This is my team right now. I guess I should have this up. This is more of a flex. This is more interesting when people join the stream now. Team submission? We've done a ton. We're gonna do tip of the week, and then we might go back to team submissions if we have time left. But I'm not that stressed this week. I think I'm pretty done. Like I know that this is gonna be my team. I could obviously still do this. Why did you switch to Lewis? Driver of the day potential, and budget. And I don't think I'm gonna need 3 transfers in Spa with this team. I think I'm probably only selling, like, maybe I have to sell Lawson if Lawson doesn't perform this week. Because I'm definitely keeping Hulkenberg. I'm most definitely keeping Lindblad. I'm probably definitely keeping Hadjar. Just got here. Was up late watching Colombia. Have your like. You deserve it. Thank you so much, Juan. Congratulations. Big Colombian win. First time since China I'm not stressing on my team. It's like my second or third time this year not stressing about the team. But yeah, that's why I switched to Lewis. I think, like, looking at the budget builder, if we're getting what we expect, Lawson needs to, like, really perform or else he could be a sell. We have Hadjar. Hold up. This is too early for this. We'll do this. Limitless team options. I mean, you just do what most of the people in my Discord did. Let me find one. I swear to God, I saw a bunch of them. There we go. This is the Limitless team. The only, like, difference is, like, you could pick Norris over Leclerc if you want. And then the 2x is your choice if you want to go Hamilton and Antonelli or be a differential and pick Russell or Verstappen. But I think you pick Leclerc or Russell, or Norris as your final driver. Is Lewis 2x really the play over Antonelli? I think it's very close. I think Lewis is way more likely to get driver of the day. Lewis looks fast. Ferrari look fast. And I think it's going to be very, very 50-50. Like, look at the chat. 61% say Lewis, 7% say both, 32% say Kimi. We're going to keep that up. We have 147 votes right now. I think that's fair. But if, like, Antonelli climbs from P3 to P1, I think Antonelli can get it. Even if Lewis is P2. We'd have to do a -10 or wildcard. Still, is it still worth it? I think it's still worth it. Especially if you do, I think you could wildcard for it. Oh no, but then you can't 3x. I don't think it's worth the wildcard because then you can't 3x. You could wildcard out of it. You could do a -10 to get it, and then wildcard out of it if things go wrong, right? But okay, so basically for next week, Lawson's probably gonna be a sell unless he performs really well. Like he needs above a 9-pointer. I think he's. It's safe to say he needs above a 10-pointer for me to consider keeping him. And then we have Hadjar with 15 points. It's not 22 points, but this is a sprint weekend, so hopefully he can get close to this again. Like at least above a 15-pointer. If Hadjar keeps above a 15-pointer, I'm probably keeping him. Lindblad, like, it's not a 10-pointer here, it's 6-pointer, but as long as he gets Like, if he gets 7 points here and increases the maximum, I'm definitely keeping Lindblad for another week. Hulkenberg, I'm keeping literally no matter what. Even if he DNFs, I'm keeping him. So I don't need to sell him. So there's a high likelihood that I don't have to sell any of my cheap drivers. Again, like, Hadra gets a 15-pointer, Lindblad gets a 7-pointer, Lawson gets a 10-pointer. If that happens, I don't need to sell any of my cheap drivers, which means I'm going to have plenty of transfers to just sell Hamilton to Antonelli next week anyway. And hopefully, if something happens to one of these 3 drivers that they don't perform, I just have to do one of them out. Does that make sense? Alright, it's time for the tip. It's time for the tip. Would you use Limitless if it made you lose budget already by having Gasly? I don't think budget is that important on Limitless right now. What do you have selected? This is post SQ. It's required points post SQ. So required points doesn't matter This is just what they need to, like, this is the amount of points they need to score. If you click post SQ, you see the percentile, like, based on the simulations, you see how much, like, how likely they are to reach that threshold, you know? But I like to look at the required points. Are you doing 3x boost on my team 2? Yes, I am. Hopefully Bottas will not take minus 30. True. It's time. What's the tip of the week, guys? What do you think? Whoa, new Sims? Hey, yo. Let's look at that. You only come in from the music? You're welcome. There's only one... Tip of the week this week is really difficult, actually. Because it's not going to apply to everyone. The tip of the week is... Listen, if you're going for a... If you're in any way, shape, or form have 2 premium drivers... You should 3x. This is the play. 3x is this week if you have it. If you have it, if you can go for it, you should do it. If you don't have this, ignore this, right? I like only when this music comes on. Yeah. Okay, so that means you like the stream, yeah? Ronch, you've liked the stream? Yeah. One of the 125 people to like the stream? I'll do a better job and play this music more often. Anyway. Yes, sir, I did. Thank you, Ronch. True trooper. New Sims. I hear whisperings of new... Is the new Sims just, with, Albon in the pits? Post SQ V2. Okay, what's the difference? So this was post SQ. 34, 33, 30. Okay. Albon minus 3.1. Albon's up to 4.1, 35.6. Okay, we have different numbers across the board. Interesting. Interesting. What's the name of that last banger that was playing? It's called Freelancer by Harris Heller. All the music I use on my stream is from Stream Beats by Harris Heller. So this, the main one that I use for my intro and before starting the stream is the grid. I think that's very fitting considering what the stream is about. You all should know this by now. And this is digital milestones that we're chilling with right now. What about Limitless? I think Limitless is a good play. Should I go 4A if I have to take Stroll, Bottas, Hulk? No, not all three. I think you can pick what. I think you can pick Bottas, but if you pick Stroll, you're gonna be stuck with Stroll, Bottas, Hulk forever. I think you need either Bortoleto or Lindblad instead of Stroll. Hadjar, Hulk, Bottas, or Lindblad, Bortoleto, Behrman. Lindblad, Bortoleto, Behrman, I think. Or Lindblad, Hulk. Lindblad, Hulk. Behrman, probably. Or Lindblad, Bortoleto, Hulkenberg. That's probably the play. I know I didn't select one of the options, but if I have to pick one, I'd go for Lindblad, Bortz, Behrman. Or Lindblad, Hulk, Behrman. Or Lindblad, Bortoleto, Hulk. I would only have Hulk Bottas if you can go for the 4A. Maybe that's tip of the week. Only have Bottas if you're going 4A. Yo, we're, hold on. We're changing. Tip of the week is changing. There you go. That's the true tip of the week right there. Oops. Anyway. That's the true tip of the week. I think it's because Albon starting from the pit lane. I don't know why Albon starting from the pit lane changed Antonelli's points, though. That doesn't make any sense to me. But I assume it's something else and not just that. I mean, okay, I guess it's dry okay, notes. Dry average conditions is what this says. Plus Albon starting from the pits. So Albon's bumped up by like 7 points in the prediction. Unfortunately, he's not really an option because of... I mean, this could make Albon an option for next week. Right? Hold on, look at this. We can talk about this now because like Albon scoring a decent points haul here in Silverstone would probably make him an option next week. Because Albon had a DNF in Barcelona because scored 7 points here. He's very likely, like, even if he say Albon could definitely get like a 15-pointer here. He's gonna drop to 7 million even with a 15-pointer, and then he's gonna be like primed for a 0.6 price rise from 7 million. That seems like a good asset right there. I think this Albon pit lane start could have some big implications for next week. And that could maybe be like the Lawson's switch. Like if Lawson doesn't get a 10-pointer here. Like if Lawson fails to increase. Yeah, I think if Lawson is anywhere below 9 points and he drops 0.2 this week, I think we have to sell him. And I think Albon could be the trade-in. Or perhaps Behrman if he gets a monster haul. No, Albon's not scoring 30 points this race. It's not happening. But Albon could definitely score 15 points this race. And if he scores 15 points this race, then minus 16 is gone next week. And then for round 9, from round 9, like when Silverstone gets bumped in. And then in Spa, he could be on for like a price increase with a 4-pointer, you know? Mexico versus England World Cup prediction. I think Mexico wins 2-0. That's my hot take. That's the hot take of the day. I don't think England win that game. Mexico don't lose in the Azteca. And England have been far from convincing. Why Hulk over Behrman? Because Hulk can't drop in price. And Behrman needs 11 points to increase. Or to not drop, right? What's your budget? 114.7 on my main team and 120.4 on my team 2. Damn, Mexico, that's a hot take? Why? Mexico have won every game so far this tournament. They've let in, like, have they conceded once? I think they've conceded once. And they're playing in the Azteca. Like, I don't think... The whole, can you do it in a rainy night in Stoke? Can you do it in front of 80,000 home fans, 2,200 kilometers above sea level? You know? That's the true test. Yeah, if it wasn't in the Azteca, if it was in like from, you know, Houston or something, or Seattle, or New York, I would bet on England to win. But it's not. It's 2,200 kilometers above sea level. $200 kilometers above sea level. No, it's 2,200 kilometers above sea level. Yeah, Shelly, it's not 200 kilometers, it's 2,200. Oh, 2,200 meters. Yeah, I meant meters. Yeah, for sure. I meant meters. What a banger. Yeah, I meant meters, not kilometers. They're 200 kilometers. Yeah. I'm just booming my metric system. Should I 3x Hamilton while having... I mean, it might as well be in space, to be fair, considering the altitude. Meters, yeah, meters. Hadger over Lawson, right? Yes. Antonov versus Hamilton, I can only get one. I prefer Hamilton, but it depends on if you think you're going to sell him, and can you do so? What transfers do you have? What teams you have? Well, like, there's a lot of things that go into this play. I think it's a very 50-50. Would it be worth to final fix Antonelli to Hamilton if he wins the sprint? Well, if Hamilton wins the sprint, you definitely wait and see what happens in the qualifying before you final fix. What's your team 1 looking like this weekend? It's looking like this. The struggle team. Do you guys prefer seeing my struggle team or my team that's, you know, performing like crazy? Kane is a robot who don't need CO2. 3-1 England. Kane is a robot. That's true. I still think Mexico win. Struggle is real. Struggle is real. Do you think your team 2 is now your main? No, my team 1 will always be my main, but my team 2 is now my best team. It's not even... That's not even a discussion anymore. It's both ahead in the global standings and has like 6 million the budget. Struggle team? Hype. Final fix is actually the best chips to use this week? Elaborate. I don't understand how you could like say that for certain until you know what happens in the qualifying. That's my opinion. Makes me feel better? Nice. Will Ferrari have the pace in the race over Red Bull? I think so. We'll have to wait and see though. There's a lot of chatter about Ferrari being really good. Should I 3x Hamilton? We're having Kimi and Merck, so no 4A lineup. I don't... Oh, you mean like having a cheap constructor? You could. I don't think it's a bad play, but I think you're probably going to want to switch off of it soon. Hulkenberg over Perez, safe bet? Yes. I mean, Perez is dropping in price. Hulkenberg is not dropping in price. Hulkenberg is way better. Like, Hulkenberg, it doesn't matter that Hulkenberg can't increase in price. It's just not going to drop, and that's worth equal as much. I would like to see a remontada for the Team 1 team at the end of the season. I'm hoping so. I'm going to try and push this team as far as I can. But considering I've had 3 straight weeks of drops, it's not looking great. I'm hoping for my first blue arrow in 3 weeks. Who would be your pick to be a driver to get ahead for future budget building? I mean, Hulkenberg is the one, right? Because Hulkenberg is going to increase in price starting next week. But if we're really talking crazy like that, I mean, who's going to get a massive score? It could be Colapinto. You know, if Colapinto scores like a 15-pointer, he increases 0.2 and then could be on for another points increase, even though he's 9.8 million. It could be Behrman if Behrman scores a 10-plus point haul, like increasing in this race and then maybe increasing the next one as well. I think Albon is the main one, but like obviously Albon you don't want to get ahead of now because Albon's not scoring 30 points this race, but Albon could get a 15-pointer here and then look really good for next week. So if you're looking to get ahead, like by bringing them in this week, it's like probably Colapinto. Can I see the tier list again? Yes, of course you can. Here's the tier list. Note that Stroll is down here because he's below F. There we go. Happy? Stroll. I mean, what can I say, man? Like, he's gonna DNF, he's gonna drop in price. Like, there's no reason to own him. There you go. That's a new emote, by the way. If you don't have it already. Lawson or Bortoletto? I wouldn't sell Bortoletto to Lawson, but if you're like downgrading Gasly, I would go for Lawson. Lawson for points, yes. One day Stroll is going to surprise us all and win a race for P22. I think you're out of your mind. I think this is what we called schizophrenia. Final take, Limitless or save? I think you can do Limitless. I don't hate it at all this week. The thing is with Limitless, you could literally use Limitless any week from now on, and it's going to be a decent Limitless. Because you've already lost out, I've said this a few times, you've already lost out to the people who did it race 2, 3, 4. I think the people who did it in China, Japan, Miami, those were the best times to use the Limitless. You're probably not going to outscore that unless you get really lucky. But you're definitely going to outperform the people who used the Limitless in Monaco, which was quite a sizable amount of people. So, because of that reason, like, your Limitless now, whenever you use it, is probably just going to be fine. But I like fine in a good way. Like, it's probably just going to be good. Unless you get Giga unlucky. And if you get Giga lucky, it could be equally good to the race at the start of the season. If everything goes your way. Gasly to Bortoletto? Yeah. No, you definitely sell Gasly. Gasly's definitely a sell this week. Alpine doesn't look as good anymore, and he's on for a price decrease. You definitely sell him to either like Lawson or Bortoletto. Or Lindblad, or Hadjar. Minus 10 for Bortoletto to Lindblad? No. I don't think that's worth it. I think you keep Bortoletto. Please! Okay, what are you saying, Andrea? Ferrari V-Carb, Hamilton 3X, Antonelli. Listen, I'm not a massive fan of the V-Carb play. But I've said that a few times this stream already. But I think it's fine for this week. But the thing is, you're going to want to transfer out of it. So, like, do you have your wildcard? If you still have your wildcard available, I think it's fine to go for this now, to use the 3X, and then next week wildcard out of it and go back to the 2 premium constructor build. Because I do think the 2 premium constructor build is better. It could, like, this, for this weekend alone, I think it's worth it, right? But you got to consider what you're doing in the future, because if you're using all your transfers now, and then you need 2 transfers to go back, will you have enough money to do like Hamilton or Antonelli back to Mercedes for free? Minus 10 for Hulk to Bortoletto. I think you, or no, there was someone else that asked that. No, minus 10 is not worth. Definitely not from Hulk to Bort. I prefer Hulkenberg. 3x booth was no with so when you play the 3x Armani, you play your 3x when you think you have the driver that's going to finish P1 and P2. If you think the Hadjar will finish P2, by all means, go ahead and use 3x. But I think I might have answered the question by, saying that instead. The 3x play, the 3x chip should be used when you think you have the drivers on your team that will finish P1 and P2. If not, just save it for, like, if you don't think Hadjar's going to finish P2 this race, wait until you have more budget in Zandvoort or Singapore and use the 3x then. For winning the RB Mini League, is it better to Limitless or 3x? Limitless. Limitless is usually the biggest upside play compared to the people around you. The delta is the biggest for Limitless. So if you want to win the Red Bull Mini League, you should use Limitless. But realistically, you should use both if it's for 2 races. if you want to have a chance. Gasly and Antonelli to Hamilton and Lawson, or keep Antonelli into Gasly to Lawson and Hulk to Bortoleto. Keep Antonelli into Gasly. I don't think you need to do Hulk to Bortoleto. Just keep Hulkenberg. You're gonna want Hulkenberg next week anyway. So if you're keeping Antonelli, you just do Gasly to Lawson and then you don't sell Hulk. So you either do Gasly and Antonelli to Hamilton and Lawson, or you just do Gasly to Lawson. I have no idea how you can afford all that, by the way. That seems crazy. Oh, no. Okay, no. That makes sense. Yeah, just do Gasly to... Yeah, just do Gasly to Lawson. That makes sense. Other drivers are Hadger and Lindblad. Yeah. No, you definitely just... like, if you keep Antonelli, you don't sell Hulk to Bortoleto. You keep Hulkenberg and save a transfer. Bortoleto over Behrman? Yes, but only by a little bit. Behrman is a better differential pick, but Bortoleto is a bit safer. Alright, we have 12 minutes to the deadline, guys. 12 minutes. I'm gonna end the stream slightly before, because I know a lot of people are gonna go and watch the start. I need to head out. No watch along today because I have to go back to work. Any recent paddock news today that we need to know? Only that Albon is starting from pit lane, but I don't think that is gonna impact our teams for this week. It's just going to impact our teams for next week, when Albon might be a good option if he has a good weekend in Silverstone. Sorry, I just got a message. Alright. Any final questions before I finish stream? Is it better to stay with Hulk instead of setting chief board? Yes, it's better to stay with Hulkenberg. I think if you could have the option to buy either, you can choose which one you want, obviously. But I would pick Hulkenberg there as well. I think Hulkenberg is a better pick than Bortoleto. Cheers, mate. Cheers to you, Mitch. Colapinto or Lawson? I prefer Lawson, but Colapinto's a better differential. It's up to you how you want to play the game. Both are good picks. Sorry, just have a chance to join. Would you take Bort over Hulkenberg? I love that it like kind of looks like Alonso when you type Bort. It's really funny. I would take Hulkenberg over Bortoleto. Budget-wise, Bort over Hulk, right? Not really, because Bortoleto is probably just increasing 0.2 million, right? And Hulkenberg is probably very likely increasing 0.6 next week. And Bortoleto, if he has a bad race or DNFs, he's going to drop in price. So I prefer Hulkenberg. Is no negative any good this week? Yes, because it's a sprint weekend. But it's not like the best time for it. But it's a sprint weekend, so you can definitely no negative if you want. Lindblad or Lawson, which is better? Lindblad, definitely, because he's almost guaranteed to increase in price. Lawson needs to have a really good performance to increase. Who's the fifth driver for Limitless? Leclerc or Norris? You definitely want Hamilton, Antonelli, Russell, or Verstappen. And then the fifth one is either Norris or Leclerc. Alright, that's gonna do it for me. Thank you so much for the stream. I'll see you all in 2 weeks' time for the Belgian GP. Video probably out Monday or Tuesday. No, you're back. I'm so sorry. I gotta go. I have to go to work. I can't stay any longer. I have shit to do. So thank you so much for the stream. Like the stream on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for 5k subs. It means a lot that I finally hit it. 2.5 years and already 5k. That's very good. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.